Hi guys, it's the Everyday Vegan here after a long absence. Lots of stuff has been happening in my life. I finished university and got straight into a little bit of work outside that, and work is busy and I'm collecting Panini football stickers, takes up a lot of my lifetime, and not really. And I have a cat. I think you've all been hearing about that cat from Charlotte. He's currently eating Koko and pays absolutely no attention to me, so I'll go get him. Here I am again, and there's Koko. He's a seal point Siamese. Say hi. Say hi. That was good. That was so funny. Anyway, he's a seal point Siamese, purebred, pedigree, and all that sort of stuff. He's my little companion now. Also known as Cokezilla. No, okay. Go and eat something. Anyway, so he's been taking up a lot of my time as well, just getting to grips with owning a cat and having someone there all the time, but it's really nice. Also, I want to cook something today, and you can probably hear the oven in the background, because I'm going to make apple crumble pie cake, whatever it may be. I don't really mind, it's really yummy, so it's apple and cinnamon cake pie. I'll probably update you about what else has been going on in my life over the next coming videos. I've done a lot of work in my garden, which is very exciting. My mom's been to visit. She's really into gardening. She's given me a lot of advice. That's cool. Renovated my flat, so you might not be able to see this, but the wall behind me is actually white now, as opposed to magnolia, which is probably my #1 most hated color in the world. Yeah, I think that's true. Anyway, I'll show you the ingredients we'll need for today's cooking lesson. And there we are, you can hear Koko in the background. There he is, by the way. Koko. Come on, say hi. Wow. Yeah. He's very vocal, as Siamese are. Anyway, so these are the ingredients. I'm using 2 types of flour, basically just because I want to get rid of this flour, so I'm mixing it with self-raising. Brown sugar, I like using brown sugar because I like the taste better. And a banana. Banana is the replica for egg in this case. Yes, Koko wants to get involved. Cinnamon, because I really like cinnamon, yay. And then my trusted Vitalite. And of course, for an apple pie or crumble, you need apples. Now, you can make this yourself, so you can stand there for 2 hours and peel apples and slowly cook them for about half an hour, which the recipe recommends. But I'm lazy. And let's not forget, this channel is all about how easy it is to be vegan. So I bought this at Aldi, and it's really yummy. I made it for work the other day, this entire pie, and it was quite successful. So I'll show you how I go about that. So let me measure some ingredients. Now the banana part is quite easy. You're meant to use a relatively raw banana, because then it doesn't taste a lot like banana, but I like the taste of banana, so I'm not going to use a raw one. I use about half of this, and that if you mush that up, which I'm going to do in that little bowl there in a minute, it goes into like a gooey sort of, I almost want to say slimy, texture, which is really good because it's used as a binding agent, much like egg is, but I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So in here I've got the flour, I've got a mixture of 2, you don't have to do that, and I've got the sugar and I've got the margarine, and over here I've got this nice little mixture of, it's just, as I said, half a banana, and that's about the right consistency there. That's Koko. Hello Koko. I know, terrible life he's got. And all I'm going to do is mix all of that together now. And when you've got it to this kind of consistency here, there's nothing stopping you from getting your hands in there, because it's not actually that gooey anymore. It's meant to be quite a dry dough, which is quite okay actually. This is about the right consistency here, and all you want to do now is you want to take about, I guess, a quarter or so of it. I always do that by sort of, yeah. Maybe about that much. Yeah, is that about a quarter? I don't know. And with this here, you put that in the spring form, which I have lost. nuts over here. Yes, I concur. And all I do, you put that in there. I'm sure you guys have done that 1,000 times before if you've made cake. You put it right in the middle and then you just spread it around. This is one that is a non-stick one, so I don't have to put any butter or margarine or anything in there. And all I'm going to do now is spread it out nicely and put it up the rim a little bit. Can you see that around the side? Yeah, probably a bit more than it is now. Now we're getting there. I think I'm about happy with that. You want to get it right at the edges at the bottom. But yeah, have a bit of a look. That's basically what you're trying to do with quite a rim around the side. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then you can put the apples inside it. Yeah, I mean this part is very straightforward. You open up the can. Koko, be quiet. I'm trying to film a video. And it's not about you for 5 minutes. Is it okay? Yeah, I'm sorry guys. Anyway, so these are the apples. Yeah, you just put all that in right in the middle. So what I'll do is I flatten this out, and then I leave it a bit rough, and then I actually put some cinnamon over it, which you may or may not like. Will you be quiet now? And then I give it another stir, actually, just to have the cinnamon all over it, like that. And then you want to flatten that out a little bit, of course. And then, once it's flat, I actually, because I'm a big fan of cinnamon, I actually put another very thin dusting of cinnamon over it all again, just to make sure. There we are. And that's it for now. And what I now have to do is I have to prepare this. Obviously this is too moist because we want a crumble type top for it, which is going to be the next thing that I'll do. All I'm trying to hope to do now is turn this one into a bit more of a crumbly top for it. So all I have to do is put some flour over it and just whoa, that was a lot. Basically just dry it out. So you just want to put the flour all through it, and eventually you'll feel it goes into lots of individual bits rather than being one bit, and you want to sort of tear it apart a little bit. And just keep adding flour if it doesn't do as you tell it to do. If it stays in one gooey mass, you're not putting enough flour in it. That's as simple as it is. Back when my mum used to make these, or my grandmother, they like to leave in some quite big chunks in there because they're quite yummy if they're still gooey inside. There's not enough flour, so this is still, you can tell by the color usually. Just need a little bit more flour in there. I think that should be it. Just sort of manually tear apart the bigger chunks if you don't like them. Oh, but that should be fine. So there or thereabouts, yeah. And all you then have to do is take your pie, which we prepared earlier. Can you see that? There we are. And then crumble this stuff over the top. It's really that simple, yeah. Half of that went on the floor. Try and even it out as much as you can. Yeah. Put it in the corners. I like quite a thick top on these. You don't want to make it look too tidy. And then all I do is, around the edges, I push the rim, or whatever you want to call it, down a little bit, just so that it's all on an even level. And that should be it. Let me give you a bit of a close-up of that. That looks nice, I think, and we can pretty much put that straight into the oven, to be honest. It's meant to cook about 20 minutes at high heat. Unfortunately, I have the world's shittest oven, excuse my French. So mine's going to take about 35 minutes, and I'm probably going to have to cover it up halfway through as not to burn the crumble, I guess. But I'll update you halfway through. The crumble started browning a little bit, so I've just put in, yeah, there's Koko. I've just put in some aluminium foil over the top of it. Wow, that's hot. Just to make sure that it doesn't get any darker. And I've got another, let's have a look, about 13 minutes left to go. And there's Koko once more for the newly found fans. Koko, at least look at the camera. Look at the camera. No, he's not looking at the camera. See in a bit. So I'm still waiting for the cake to cook fully. Just wanted to show you what Koko's been up to. So he's sitting in the bookshelf. Why are you sitting in the bookshelf, Koko? Any reason in particular? So anyway, his full name is actually Koko, and he's a Seal Point Siamese. If anybody gets that reference, please get in touch, because we might be friends. Any last words, Koko? Koko? Koko. Oh, okay. Yeah, I agree. The weather is pretty shit. The oven's just beeped, so I'm actually going to get the cake out now, which I'm very excited about. Apple crumble pie, whatever you want to call it. I'll show you, and then you can tell me in the comments what it's actually called. Because I would call it an apple pie, or cake, but apparently it's called an apple crumble, so you let me know. Oh, it smells really nice, actually. That is gonna be so hot. There we are. Ooh. And up here. Whoa. And ta-da! That looks pretty good, doesn't it? I will let that cool down a little bit, and maybe I'll do another feature later on when I cut into it. Nom 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 nom. And there it is, guys. It's out of the spring foam here, and I'm gonna cut into it now. I'm so excited. It's actually still really warm. Ooh, nice. It's really gooey inside. You can see that on the knife. And I'm gonna eat that, and I'm not gonna tell Charlotte because I'm meeting her to go to the cinema in a minute. And I'm not gonna tell her that I made cake. So you guys need to keep that secret. And let's have a look. Ooh, look at that. Ah, nice. Well, guys, I'm gonna enjoy that now. So I bid you farewell. Thanks very much for tuning in again. Sorry it's been such a long time. Life got in the way as it does. So more from Koko sometime soon. And yeah, don't tell Charlotte about the cake.